A little over halfway through my solo attempt at the Great Divide mountain bike route, and I think I've gotten what I've come here for. An adventure.
I'm having a very bad time.
Any good ride has its ups and downs. Despite the challenges in and outside of my control, I've not needed to deviate from the route. Colorado is a high point, figuratively and literally. Getting here later in the season than I'd hoped, and freezing temperatures have left me questioning my timing. With the highest passes still to come, I need to get through Colorado as quickly as possible while still trying to enjoy myself. I met up with Alex again, the guy who's riding to Argentina, who I went through that ridiculous forest fire with in Canada. After 4 days of sleeping on a couch and eating food constantly, relaxing in Steamboat Springs, catching up with some old friends, people I haven't seen in years, people I love dearly, I finally motivated myself enough to get off the couch and start riding. Winter's coming. We got a bit of snow on Pikes Peak here in Colorado, so the clock is ticking. I'm going to try and hit some decently large days until I get to Del Norte. We're over halfway through September, and the more northern portions of the trail are starting to see snow. With 4 or 5 of the highest passes I've ever cycled over still in the way, the desert feels so far out. I'm over 400 miles away from Indiana Pass. At just under 12,000 feet, it's the highest point on the divide.
I think if we keep it moving, we'll be all right, but...
Although the summer months in Colorado are known to be warm and dry, it's also known for rapid and at times violent thunderstorms that can materialize out of a perfect day.
Best descent.
These afternoon storms are so consistently inconsistent, they've become a notorious risk in the Colorado outdoor community. With Canada being the benchmark for suffering, this is actually just kind of funny. Ended up making it to camp at right about sunset. It's just after 7 p.m. right now. It is cold. There was a lot of snow up high. That is making me very nervous. Moving forward through Colorado, the passes are getting higher, so if the weather does not improve, I don't know. When I started the trail, I imagined I'd already be in New Mexico by now. I'm feeling pressured by the snow-capped peaks that surround me to hurry, but the beauty is too captivating to rush. This is my most social week yet. Just before lunch, Alex and I met 2 other Divide riders. Good dry sesh. There's some rain on the horizon and the forecast, and looks like we're getting wet again. On the climb, we compared experiences, laughing about the good and the bad, telling our stories of failure and fortune. Somehow on that climb, it went from feeling like I have so much left to do to I've achieved so much already. Telling the stories to others that understood, I felt really proud of everyone I was with. It wasn't the highest pass, but this one felt special. We really had it all up there. Although it was cold, the rain missed us, and we got a beautiful, paved, and chilly descent right to a hostel, where we enjoyed a warm shower and burritos among new friends. By far one of my favorite parts of sleeping in town is that I can go to the grocery store and get yogurt and berries for breakfast. And then City Market has donuts for 79 cents, so I got a couple of crispy downs for the road. I feel less of a need to rush. Even as I leave Silverthorne, it's already stunning. Greeted by bike path and smiling faces, throttling my expectations of distance covered per day, and having a plan B if things get too slow, or I meet some people, or I find a nice place to relax. Feels like a very different mindset from a couple of days ago. You can't escape the weather. You can lose sight of the beauty. Putting my head down and trying to grind is not exactly the experience I'm trying to have. So whether I go slow or fast, up or down, I ceased fighting and started living. I don't want to run, I want to ride. It's becoming very clear, the way you measure progress is just as important as how you make it.
Oh dang, it's a cool sunset.
Got about 45 to 50 pretty chill miles up to Salida. Hopefully the wind's cooperating. A friend of mine was kind enough to let Alex and I crash for the night in Salida. Looking forward to a fully stocked grocery store and a home-cooked meal. These miles are coming easier than ever. Definitely had a pretty big headwind yesterday coming into Salida, and a big headwind this morning leaving. Heading up Marshall Pass right now. Alex and I have a really interesting type of friendship. In a short time, we've experienced a gamut of emotions together. I saw him in the first 10 miles of the trail, and he was riding single track, very slowly. I figured with his massive bags and classic touring setup, he might be lost. After what we went through the following day, he certainly had his doubts. Without the trail, we probably would have never met. And after the trail, we'll probably never see each other again. The temporary nature of these friendships seems a bit one-dimensional. But these are the people that I learned the most from. He's well on his way down to Argentina now, but we still stay in touch. He's the perfect example that attitude is half the battle, especially if your bike weighs over 100 pounds. I totally made a dyslexic mistake. Said on my map fee area, yes. I read it as free area, yes. So we're not paying for camping. Quite a bit of frost this morning, finding it a bit hard to rally, well below freezing. Try to camp as low as possible, but you can only do so much here in Colorado. It's not hard to see why Colorado is one of the most section-ridden portions of the trail. With smooth surfaces and long, steady climbs, coupled with massive views, you couldn't ask for more. This is by far the least hike-a-bike I've had to do for the entire trail. I'm getting swept up in the romance of being out here, and it reminds me that timing is everything. I noticed that there's something wrong with my brake caliper. I can't tell. Felt like I was dragging an anchor for a while there. About a week ago, maybe 2. I think that my caliper has seized, and I've ground through an entire brake pad on one side. So that's exciting. Alex and I have had a tailwind for the first time in days. Oh my God. Oh. We're on the top of Cochetopa Pass. Who knows what would have happened if I started this trail one day later. I would have had to reroute around the fire. I never would have met Alex. No big push to Llama Ranch or the Tetons. I probably wouldn't have been caught in the storm in the basin. Truth be told, I've spent the better part of this trail being an anxious mess. Storm King National Forest Campground. Heading into Del Norte. I got to get my bike addressed in some way. Definitely looks like I have a season caliper. I need brake pads. Not taking care of myself and not taking care of my bike. Essentially cutting corners in hopes of a superficial gain in time. It reminds me of the fact that I've spent little to no time planning this trip, taking myself too seriously, and the trail not seriously enough. It makes me feel a bit dim. Being a dimwit takes up a lot of time. In Colorado, I tried something I'm not very good at. Just slowing down. I tried to plan my next move, look at a map, find my resupplies, reach out to potential hosts, take half days off, longer lunches, and the occasional sleep in. And just be a little less dim-witted, downright enjoying myself. And although I'm following a line on a map, the experience is not linear. Can't remember where I heard it first, but the saying slow is smooth, then smooth is fast comes to mind. Q-tips, rubbing alcohol. None of the bike shops in town were open. I'm gonna try and fix my brakes myself. Filth. Oh my God, it's so dirty. After doing some research about disc brakes, you're supposed to clean this stuff, I guess. You get to learn something new every day on a bike tour. There is a city park here in Del Norte. It's got an outlet and a bathroom. And I think we're just gonna camp here for the night. I was certainly warned of the raccoons in the park, but they got me. They stole my bottle of Chick-fil-A sauce, which I just bought yesterday. Huge bummer. Strapped to the bottle cage in a bungee cord. I don't know, what are they doing with a bottle of sauce? Climbing for 3.5 hours, just over 11,000 feet. Alex is a bit behind me. He has a different gearing, a much heavier bike, so I'll expect to wait for him up at the top. Biking over mountains is hard work, but it's good work too. It feeds something in you. I'm glad my pride kicked in back in Montana, and I didn't decide it was all too hard, throwing in the towel as it is so easy to do. Although it was the same pride that got me into this mess in the first place, it seems I've had a change of perspective. And that's all anyone can hope for with something like this. Just because you don't get the experience you wanted, doesn't mean you failed. I used a lot of effort trying to steer the ship back on course, instead of just going with the flow. It is 2:30. It took me 6 hours to get here from Del Norte. I don't know, maybe it's 30 miles? I don't know if I'm gonna make it to that warm showers tonight. I'm running low on new miles. Everything behind me remains a lesson learned. And everything ahead of me will hopefully be a practical application. This trail is super hard on bikes and gear. These Rene Hurst tires I bought at the start of this trail. I'm about to hit 2,000 miles today. So that's a pretty good life expectancy for a gravel tire, especially on this rough a terrain. But I'm gonna rotate them and hopefully get that last 700 miles out of these bad boys.
Honestly, I couldn't imagine knowing much less about the trail and successfully completing it. That being said, out of all the things I don't know, I know even less about New Mexico. Probably the most skipped portion of the trail, and I've heard there's not a lot of water, along with the fact that the roads can be atrocious. That's a big contrast to Colorado.
Welcome to New Mexico.
This dude hasn't taken a zero since Montana. Helena was the last time. Apparently, I just found out. Somebody's a little bit tired. My goal for New Mexico is to not run out of water a single time. That's my goal. We'll see. I'm dumber than I look, so anything could happen. It's definitely time to say goodbye to those smooth Colorado roads.